Packers with an NFL best +7 turnover margin. And just so you know, the Giants rookie QB Daniel Jones will be without some very key weapons. Saquon Barkley, his backup Wayne Gallman, wide receiver Sterling Shepard, and the tight end Evan Ingram will not play tonight. Meanwhile, Tom Brady, he keeps rolling along. Brady has thrown for over 1,400 yards with 10 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions so far this season. Not bad at all. Damian Woody here with me and Shefty to break down this game. And let's start with you. I mean, other than the fact that Daniel Jones might have to run it, throw it, and catch it in this game, what are some of the updates that you have for our matchup tonight?
Listen, you look at all the Giants that are ruled out tonight. Mm-hmm. That's going to change the way that they do business tonight. There's no other way of saying it. Take Saquon Barkley out of there. Take Wayne Gallman out of there. Take Sterling Shepard out of there. Take Evan Ingram out of there. It's amazing how decimated they are going into the game. Now, saying that Daniel Jones will have to elevate his performance. There'll be more pressure than ever before on him. And there will be other players that have to come through. John Hilliman, Elijah Penny at running back, Darius Slayton and Golden Tate at wide receiver, Rhett Ellison at tight end. Names you don't ordinarily hear are going to be at the forefront tonight in a short week on the road against a very tough New England defense.
So what are you saying here, Chef?
I'm saying it's going to be a very, very difficult matchup for the Giants.
Okay, so then I'm not going to tell you to break down exactly what the Patriots need to do to win the game. Let's talk about where they could be vulnerable down the stretch. Are there any weaknesses in this team that started out fine?
There's very few, but, you know, most people would talk about they're not rushing the ball as much, considering what they were last year towards the end of the season, more ground and pound. Tom Brady, he under pressure, he tends to not do as well. Washington Redskins kind of knocked him around a little bit last week. But, I mean, Maria, you're talking about a team that's number one scoring defense, number 3 scoring offense. The turnover differential, they're number 1. They're basically leading the league in almost every statistical category on both sides of the ball. That's what the Giants are facing on a short week.
And I will say a short week seems to always work to New England's advantage.
Yes.
Very few teams seem to do as good a job as New England. I remember a couple of years ago they were playing on a Thursday night, and whereas most teams shorten up their playbook and go very basic, they expanded it and routed whoever they were playing in that particular matchup, and that's the kind of thing that the Patriots routinely do. They're just that much ahead of everybody else, right?
Yes, and thoroughly impressed. How about this? They still have not allowed a passing touchdown so far this season. It's pretty incredible, Greeny.
That's indeed right. So we look forward to that. Meanwhile, another big story in the NFL involves 49ers corner Richard Sherman, who says he will apologize to Baker Mayfield for saying that Mayfield snubbed him Monday night and didn't shake his hand. This coming, of course, after a video surfaced that showed the two of them shaking hands. Sherman talked about it on our buddy Pat McAfee's radio show yesterday.
It's definitely my bad. I never want anybody to have to deal with some shit that they didn't do. And so the questions that he's going to get and the annoying nonsense questions about some stuff that happened in a game that's already been done, sure, he'll get an apology for that. I'll probably reach out to him via text or social media to actually get a hold of him and talk to him in person.
I haven't had my phone on me. Just got out of practice, but I just heard that. It's nice of him.
Did that bother you at all when he said what he did, that you didn't shake his hand and all that?
No. I know what I did, but that's, the one time the camera and something recording me is, gone in my favor.
Okay, so they shook it off like Taylor Swift would suggest that you should. I'm not exactly sure what to make of this whole story. Well, what should we make of this, Dominic Fox?
Yeah, I mean, Baker, that deadpan delivery is fantastic, and I like Baker, his attitude. He may not be as good a quarterback as we all wanted him to be or we all thought he might have been, but I appreciate the energy that he brings to this game, and often, or it seems now that everyone's turning on that energy. Before the season started, a lot of people were like, yeah, this is the Baker we need. This is the leadership that they need, but now people are turning on. I'm not there. I want him to keep that energy because that's what got him here. He's a walk-on who went on to win the Heisman to be the #1 overall pick. You don't get there unless you have supreme confidence and you're not scared to go at some people.
The problem is Baker has rubbed so many people the wrong way that now defenders are creating a figment of their imagination that he's annoyed them. And the real issue for me is, as a defender, if you're going up against Baker Mayfield, you got a little extra anger. I remember my senior year going up against Colin Klein, the quarterback for Kansas State, and he was disrespecting folks the way he was running the ball, Woody. I'm telling you right now. He was disrespecting folks the way he was running. Every hit, Greeny, I tried to legally end this man's life. Within the realms of the game, with every hit. Now, mind you, he took each one like a champ, and he kept it pushing. But Baker has upset some people, and he is going to pay for it on the field.
If you're one of his teammates, do you want him to tone it down? Because it clearly does seem to me that you don't want to add any juice to the other side, and he is. Or do you live with the fact that this is who the guy is and I'm following him?
I don't want a person who's not who they are. Mm-hmm. If this is what has gotten Baker Mayfield to the point where he's at in his career. I think at the end of the day, what guys ultimately would say is, listen, we need to win. We need to win football games. Okay, all the bluster and all that type of stuff is fine. But if you're not out here performing at the level that we're all striving to be, then what good is it?
It's amazing to me that Baker Mayfield in this particular case did absolutely nothing wrong, and it's become a referendum on his personality. Like, we're talking about how the rest of the NFL views Baker Mayfield's personality when he did nothing wrong, when basically he was accused of not shaking Richard Sherman's hand, which he did. So why are we talking about Baker Mayfield?
But let me ask you this, Shefty. Let me ask you this. Don't you think he brought it upon himself? Like Meek said, at the point in which, now credit Baker's bravado. It is what got him here. College walk-on, everybody knows the story. He's from Austin, Texas. But don't you think, Shefty, this is now the bed that he has made, so he better tuck himself in and sleep comfortably?
We know he's rubbed some people the wrong way.
I mean, I think
we know that not everybody loves the guy.
Right. But the fact that he rubbed people the wrong way is the reason why this is a story now. I like him rubbing people the wrong way because there's no cowards in that locker room. No one's sitting around like, oh, Baker, be quiet because you're going to make the other team angry. Get out of here. These are professional football players. They don't care. They want your best shot because they're going to give you their best shot. We wouldn't even be talking
about this if this whole thing wasn't fabricated. Like the whole Baker didn't shake my hand. When there's clip video, he did shake his hand. We wouldn't even be talking about this right now if that was the case.
Because it was the thing you always use, the phrase you use, confirmation bias.
Yeah,
Richard Sherman went to that handshake expecting something to happen, and in his own mind it did, even though nothing happened.
Yeah,
and then afterwards, he's got to go on Pat's show and say, I apologize because nothing happened.
We all believed it. As soon as Richard Sherman said he did shake his hand, we were like, oh, there's Baker being Baker. So, I mean, I think that's part of it.
Final word, because Shefty seems irked by this.
You know who shot that video? Manti Te'o's girlfriend.
Oh, God.
Shefty for the win.
Okay. I'll take something I had no idea was going to happen on the show for 50, Alex. Let's go. Shefty, let's run the hurry up. I got a bunch of other stuff for you here. Tez Perfect season-long suspension was upheld yesterday. How'd that turn out?
Well, not very well for Vontaze Burfict. No surprise here. Derek Brooks, a former linebacker, basically said that there's no place in the game for this type of hit. They also factored in another hit that he delivered to Nyheim Hines away from the play, and his body of work basically got him the year-long suspension upheld. Free agent after this year, you wonder how it affects his career.
We're going to talk more about this one a little bit later. Meanwhile, injury news, Carolina, Christian McCaffrey, what gives?
Exited the game last week with the back injury, didn't practice yesterday, and they are playing an early game in London. That's not going to be a great trip for Christian McCaffrey to have to make on that long flight to play on Sunday against Tampa Bay. I think they are describing it right now as a rest day, but we'll see how much more rest he does need this week.
All right, we're talking about him for MVP a little later. Meanwhile, more injury news. What's the latest on Todd Gurley?
Did not practice yesterday. The Rams held him out. He's got a quad injury, and that would mean more Mac Brown. That would mean some Darrell Henderson, the rookie that they drafted in the third round. They want to be very careful with Todd Gurley. Big matchup against the 49ers. Didn't practice yesterday. No practice for Gurley. No practice for Aqib Talib.
Okay, and then we get to Jalen Ramsey. He was back practicing with the Jaguars yesterday, though he was limited in what he could do. Ramsey, who, as we know, has asked for a trade out of Jacksonville, has missed the last 2 games with back issues. His coach, Doug Marrone, was cautious yesterday about expecting him to return.
What did the back specialist tell you guys about Jalen?
I think both, just confirmed, what our doctors have said. And, today we expect him, to be outside. And, we're going to try to do a little bit more and just keep testing it and pushing it. He's working, extremely hard to get back. And, everyone's doing everything they can. So, you guys will see him out there today, and we'll just take it day by day.
So quickly, Shefty, what gives here with Jalen Ramsey?
Listen, I think he's got to toe the company line as much as he can in the risk of him not being slapped with conduct detrimental. And I don't think, still, I'll be surprised if we see him playing for that team anytime soon. Well, ever is a long time, Greeny.
But I guess what I'm asking you is, are they trading him? Or will they have to trade him because he isn't going to play?
They're not going to trade him.
No matter what?
They're not going to trade him.
This doesn't make any sense, Schefter. It makes absolutely no sense.
It does.
If he's not going to play, not the situation itself makes no sense. If you're not going to play and they're not going to trade him, what is the point? It's a lose-lose situation.
This has become basically man versus man, challenge versus challenge. Shad Khan versus Jalen Ramsey. And Shad Khan is basically saying, I am not going to allow a player to dictate to me what I have to do and what I don't have to do.
I disagree a little bit. I think it's Ramsey versus Coughlin. The only reason why you keep him and you don't play him is if you think at the end of the year there might be a move somewhere else in the organization. You want to keep Ramsey and you want to move on from Coughlin.
If the owners say it's not happening, guess what? It's not going to happen.
All right, we're going to leave it there for the moment. We have much more football as we go, but obviously, Maria, our eyes are also trained overseas.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Greeny. And our eyes have been on China, where for days of speculation, we were not quite sure if the Nets and Lakers were actually going to take the court in Shanghai, China, but they have. And the last few days have been canceled NBA Cares events, and we've also seen the speculation and the friction between the NBA and China grow. But we do have Rachel Nichols on the ground in Shanghai, and after all of the unrest after Daryl Morey's tweets, we have seen that the Lakers and Nets are on the floor. Rachel, what's the latest from Mercedes-Benz Arena? I know you've been working around the clock to bring us news from there.
Hey, Maria. I'm actually watching a real basketball game being played, which I got to tell you, for a long time this week did not look like it was going to happen. I think the most relieved people are the players. They're just thrilled to be able to go out and do something. It's been an interesting few days for them. They really weren't able to go out in public because they were afraid of the fan backlash. So on the one hand, it's been very frustrating for them. On the other hand, for two teams that have a lot of new pieces, they've been able to do a decent amount of team bonding. There's been a lot of movies. There's been a lot of meals all together and team dinners. But now they are playing. The one person it hasn't gone well for so far is Kyrie Irving. He had a facial fracture going into training camp and just re-injured his face. So he will not play for the rest of this game. Always interesting to say Kyrie Irving out, face. But that is, in fact, what has happened. LeBron James having a better night. Every time he touches the ball here in Shanghai, Maria, people are cheering and yelling. So while there was certainly a backlash to the comments from Daryl Morey, and it has been contentious through this whole week, in the end, basketball fans are basketball fans. They are very happy to be seeing these guys play.
All right, Rachel, we're very happy to have you on. Again, working around the clock. We were talking to her last night, and she's bringing all of the latest from Shanghai and right now watching a basketball game at Mercedes-Benz Arena. And we want to catch you up with some of the highlights that are happening between the Nets and Lakers. You heard Rachel there talking about they've been getting a lot of time in together, maybe getting to know each other. So Rondo, nice pass to LeBron, finishes the layup. He already was in double figures. We were just waiting for the first quarter to end out there in Shanghai. Kicks it out. And Irving gets hit in the face. That's what we were talking about. Remember the facial fracture there. He does come out immediately after this one. But again, you see he's wearing the face mask. Rondo just flexes a little bit, and he has to go over to the bench. In the first quarter, Anthony Davis, we've all been waiting to see him do what he does. Good vision, gets it out for the easy layup in Rondo, and he's getting to the free throw line too. AD, he's got 8 free throws on the day. All right, Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, they face each other Sunday in what could be a pretty high-scoring game. Is Watson closing the gap on Mahomes? We're going to discuss that. Plus, Zion, he took flight and was every bit of a top pick in the draft last night. And we'll see if it's a preseason fluke or a monster rookie season is headed your way. Jalen will tell us.